It's final. It's done. With all sorts of stories coming around that Amad Diallo is going to be loaned to the championship. Fabrizio Romano is going to hate to break a very huge story on the transfer decision that Erik ten Hag is going to hate to make onto Amad Diallo's situation at the club of Manchester United. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. We thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims at Friday, Juma Kareem, flock to those mosques and obviously exalt Allah to the max. So let's see close to 200 likes much of this video as we obviously get into the 19th day of January, and hope you guys are really having fun, and we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as this channel is really concerned. And thank you everyone who is really a person who keeps viewing this channel and continue to subscribe. Now it's the Amad Diallo session. Ten Hag, what he has gonna hate to say. Secondly, what Amad Diallo is going to hate to say about Erik ten Hag. And lastly, we are going to see the newly appointed manager of Sunderland. What I was going to hate to say about Amad Diallo. And I'm going to let you know why the speculations that he was really going back to Sunderland were really raised up to the bar. Now, let's start it off with the manager, Erik ten Hag, and the decision I was going to hate to make about Amad Diallo. It is Fabrizio Romano who went ahead to obviously post this, and he told us the following: that Amad Diallo has no plans to leave Man United on loan in January. Direct conversation with Erik ten Hag took place to confirm his intention to stay at Man United. No current plan on player side for any loan to the championship clubs, including Middlesbrough. Amad wants to respect Sunderland. So Amad Diallo has had a direct conversation with Erik ten Hag, and they've gone ahead to agree on it that he wants to stay at Man United and fight for his position and come up and fight for that position with Anthony. And I think that is the best ever decision that Amad Diallo will ever make, to stay at the club of Man United. And Erik ten Hag is welcome to see to it that he keeps this player at the club of Manchester United. If you remember the cameo that we went ahead to put up when United was playing against Nottingham Forest, you just had to wish that, if at all, he had gone ahead to obviously play like 45 minutes. So he was a little bit unlucky that he was not available in the game of Wigan, a game that I thought he was going to start, and the game of Tottenham Hotspur, he was not available. So that really went ahead to affect him a lot. But let's pray to it that he has gone ahead to go on holiday, and then he's going to return, I think, at the beginning of next week, to see to it that he starts training with the club of Man United as we prepare to play in the game of the FA Cup against Newport. And if at all he's physically fit, he's one of those that will start into that game as we really anticipate. But he's a very good player, and he has gone ahead to obviously show us that he is a different kind of right attacking midfielder from Anthony. And this is going to hit to come up when United is going to hit obviously let out very many players to go on loan. Oyalede, Joe Higil, Alvaro Fernandez, Jordan Sancho, there is Amad Diallo, there is Hannibal, right? And very many others are still living, especially those that are in academy. I saw someone complaining about it and selling players in the academy to raise money. And it was like, why should we sell players in the academy to raise money? Now, if a player hits 20 years when he's in the academy of Man United and he hasn't gone ahead to break through to the first team of Man United, there is no reason to keep him at the club of Man United. The best thing is to obviously loan him and sell him. That is it. Because at 20 years, all you want to be playing is football. And Ten Hag understands this better, that that's the start of your career. And if you waste your first 3 years of your 20s, then you won't obviously see yourself really going to where you deserve to be. That's why I stated that even Facundo Pelestri, because of lack of enough playing time at the club of Man United, there is a proposal to Granada that's going to obviously accept that he wants to go back to Spain. And remember, he was playing in Spain at Alaves, you know. So I understand that people have their opinions, but those youngsters should be taken. If at all we can get out like 10 youngsters and we can get like £3 million out of them, that is like £30 million, right? And remember, there is a buyback clause and sell-on fee. So if at all there is a sell-on clause, if these players happen to obviously collect us more 33 more million pounds. That means we can obviously have 60, 70 million pounds collected from these players. And a player who will obviously break through into the team will be like Amad Diallo, Garnacho, Kobe Menu, Kambwala. Such players, you see them that they are going to break into the first team. The likes of Fosun Omori, the Dan Gores of this world. But if at all a player has been at the club of Man United for all those years and has failed to please Erik ten Hag, then he deserves to obviously go out. The Aarons of this world, Aaron Ansek is one of those that is really very promising, and Ten Hag wants to keep him. That's why before he goes out on loan, United want to obviously see his contract really renewed and extended to the levels where he deserves to be. So, for Amad Diallo, he's not going anywhere. And after agreeing on that, Amad Diallo is going to hate to say the following on Erik ten Hag, and it looks like he loves him as a manager and he loves the demands, and that's why he has gone ahead to really have a dialogue with the manager, and the decision has been made that he's going nowhere. Amad Diallo on Erik ten Hag, he has said he's a person who wants to work hard, even in training, and when you are going slowly, he calls you over and tells you tells you to go stronger. I like coaches like that let you know that you need to train hard. So, Amad Diallo loves Erik ten Hag. That is it. He loves Erik ten Hag, and that's why he really believes that going away on to a championship team on a loan is really very bad, and he doesn't really fancy it. All he fancies is to stay at Man United working under Erik ten Hag, a manager whose demands are really huge, and he wants you to work hard every time he sees you in the training session. And that's what we've been lacking at the club of Man United. You've seen it that when Rafrangni came in here and he told players that you have to train like this hard, to train more and more and more, the players said, no, we are not used to that. So it showed you that the previous coaches were just not making these players to run enough. And we've seen complaints coming in through from some leakages from the players of Man United to the mainstream media that they are being hard worked a lot. That's why they don't really perform well. And you ask them that if at all you came out and really won against Aston Villa and you gave an excuse that the manager spared you and never really made you run a lot, how come you went ahead and really lost the game of Nottingham Forest if at all the manager went ahead to do the same? So the fact is, these players have not yet met the high standards of teams like Manchester City. You get? Because they can play one game well and don't play the other game well. It shows you that their inconsistency has been caused by them not being able to match the fitness levels of other teams. Other teams work hard. They work hard and they really take the team to where it deserves to be. So that is all about Amad Diallo and Erik ten Hag. Amad loves how Ten Hag really conducts himself. Now, after him going onto his Insta story and post the photo of Sunderland, the manager of Sunderland, newly appointed, that is Michael Biel, has gone ahead and really said the following to Amad Diallo. Others interpreted it like this guy wanted to return to Sunderland, maybe to play the last 6 months and then return back to Man United. The manager of Sunderland said, I know he loved his time here. When I came here, I said to myself, if it could happen, it would happen. But I think Man United are surrendering, realize that they have a very good player on their hands. That is it. What Amad does, no one does it on the right attacking side of the midfield. No one does it. And I really missed him out a lot in the game of Wigan and the game of Tottenham Hotspur, because I knew he could do a lot. All he needs is to get in those minutes, and I know he will bench Anthony. Like I told you at the beginning of this season that Garnacho is going to bench Rashford out of that team because he offers a lot, he tracks back well, and he doesn't really stop. He's relentless. You've seen it that even the game of Tottenham Hotspur, the manager takes off Rashford and leaves on Garnacho because Garnacho went ahead to prove a point, and all we need to see from Amad Diallo is him getting into the team. Let him get those cameos, and he performs very well like he did against Nottingham Forest. And trust me, around March, this guy will be starting ahead of Anthony because he offers a lot more than what Anthony does. Then the manager of Sunderland said, we made it clear to them that we would be there if Ahmad was allowed to leave, but Man United also really like him. If he were to go out on loan, I can make sure they are aware that we would like him to come back. So, all what he did at Sunderland last season, 14 goals scored and he put up 3 assists. Those are 17 goal contributions in all his games at Sunderland. It was really great and was voted the young player of the championship. That is Amad Diallo for you. But I cannot let him go, and Ten Hag also cannot let Amad Diallo go. He wants him to start the club of Man United because Facundo Pelestri is leaving, and he wants 2 left-footed players playing onto the right wing of Man United to compete for that position and really increase the intensity. If at all one is not performing well, trust me, the other will be performing well. We've seen that on the left side of the forward of Manchester United, Rashford and Garnacho. See how Garnacho is obviously performing at the club of Manchester United. He's really performing at elite levels, and the biggest beneficiary of Amad Diallo getting into the first team of Man United is gonna be none other than Rasmus Højlund. Firstly, because this guy is unselfish. When he gets that ball, he obviously goes in for the best option. We've seen him. He rarely shoots at goal, and he only shoots at goal when he is in the best position to shoot. That is Amad Diallo for you, and I really like him for that. He's a very different kind of player, and Erik Ten Hag appreciates players like him. So I'm really excited that Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead to make a decision on Amad Diallo, that Diallo is going nowhere, and I just want to see him really get into the team of Man United, because the final third should obviously be surged by a player like him to obviously create chances for the number 9s. And the other player that will benefit a lot from him is Bruno Fernandes. If Bruno Fernandes keeps on making those runs that are really late around the D of the Tina's box area, Amad Diallo is a person who can run towards the byline, chop inside, and then go in for a cutback, and that cutback can find a replaced Bruno, and Bruno will just do a tap-in or give it a hard shot into the goal, and he can make it count at any time. So if we build those patterns of play, I think Amad Diallo will be more important to the club of Manchester United than Anthony. And for Anthony, he'll need to up his game. Sometimes there are players that you bring at the club to help you up the game of the player. You'll bring that player to push that player to see to it that he obviously gets to where you want him to be. And maybe Anthony just needed a player like Amad Diallo to obviously come in through and really play better and be on the bench. That is it, because players like Marcus Rashford have gone ahead to rise up because the manager went ahead to bench them, and we called for his benching for a very long time, and Ten Hag took forever to obviously bench him, but finally went ahead and benched him, and you see magic happening at the club of Man United. And this is what we want to see at this club. We want to see Amad benching Anthony, and we want to see Anthony's reaction. So guys, what are your thoughts about Ten Hag making Amad Diallo transfer decision? And do you agree with him that he wants to keep him at the club of Man United? All that and more into the comment section below. Rokan David remains my name. We thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Juma Karim. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Me out for now. See you later. Bye-bye.